If you're doing these 5 things, you're literally paying to stay poor. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to show you the exact habits that are keeping you broke while rich people are building wealth in the background. And trust me, number 3 is going to shock you because it's something 90% of people are doing right now. So let's talk about the first habit that broke people do and rich people completely avoid. And that habit is, they don't have a spending tracking system. Let me explain why this is so important. See, most people, they earn money, they spend money, and they have absolutely no idea where their money is going. They get to the end of the month and they're like, where did all my money go? But rich people, they track every single rupee. They know exactly how much they spent on food, on entertainment, on transportation, on everything. Here's the thing, if you don't measure something, you can't improve it. And this is the fundamental problem. When you don't track your spending, you're flying blind. You're making financial decisions without any data. But when you start tracking your money, something magical happens. You become aware of your habits. You see patterns. You realize you're spending 5,000 rupees a month on things you don't even remember buying. I'm talking about those small purchases. The coffee here, the snack there, the random online shopping. These small things add up to thousands of rupees every single month. Rich people know this, which is why they track everything. They use apps, they use spreadsheets, they use notebooks, whatever works for them, but they track. And here's what happens when you start tracking. You'll be shocked. You'll see where your money is really going, and automatically, you'll start making better decisions. You won't even need to force yourself to save because you'll naturally cut down on wasteful spending when you see it in front of your face. So now that you understand the power of tracking your spending, let's move to the second habit that's keeping you broke. And this one is huge. This habit is, they spend money they haven't earned yet. This is credit card culture, my friends. And this is one of the biggest wealth killers in the modern world. You see, broke people, they buy things first and worry about paying for them later. They use credit cards like they're free money. They think, I'll pay it back later. But here's the problem, later never comes, and instead, interest keeps piling up. Rich people, they have a completely different mindset. They don't buy anything unless they already have the money for it. They only use credit cards for rewards and cashback, and they pay off the full balance every single month. They never, ever carry a balance because they know that credit card interest is one of the fastest ways to destroy your wealth. Think about it. If you're spending money you don't have and paying 18 to 36% interest on it, you're literally making yourself poorer every single day. That interest is working against you. But when you only spend money you've already earned, everything changes. Your money works for you, not against you. And here's something most people don't realize, when you buy something with cash or your debit card, it feels different than when you swipe a credit card. Psychologically, you're more careful. You think twice. You don't impulse buy as much. Rich people know this psychological trick, which is why they often use cash or debit for everyday expenses. So the takeaway here is simple, stop borrowing money to buy things you want. This is the path to staying broke. Instead, wait, save up, and buy it with money you already have. Your future self will thank you. Now, let's jump into the third habit, and this is the one I mentioned earlier that's going to shock you. This habit is, they don't ignore their bills and financial responsibilities. Listen, broke people have a very common pattern. They get their salary, they spend it on lifestyle and entertainment, and then when the bills come, they're stressed. They're anxious. They might even avoid opening their bank statements because they know it's bad news. But rich people, they treat their financial obligations like sacred duties. They pay their bills first, then they spend the rest. This is called the pay yourself first principle, but it starts with understanding your obligations. See, most broke people are living paycheck to paycheck because they never actually calculate their fixed expenses. They don't know how much they need for rent, electricity, water, internet, insurance, loan EMI, all of these things. So they just spend randomly and then panic when bills arrive. But wealthy people sit down, they calculate every single fixed expense. They know exactly how much money they need for survival and obligations. And then they create a budget around that. Everything is planned. Everything is accounted for. Here's what really happens when you ignore your bills and keep spending money carelessly. First, you miss payment deadlines. Then, you have to pay late fees. Then, your credit score drops. And once your credit score drops, you pay higher interest rates on loans and credit cards. So that one habit of ignoring your financial responsibilities. It costs you tens of thousands of rupees every single year in extra fees and interest. Rich people never let this happen. They set up automatic bill payments. They maintain their credit score religiously. They understand that a good credit score is worth money. It's literally worth thousands of rupees in lower interest rates when you need to borrow. And here's something else, when you start paying attention to your bills and obligations, you gain control. You're no longer a victim of your finances. You become the master of your money. And that feeling? That's empowering. That's how wealth starts building. Alright, so we've covered tracking spending, avoiding debt, and paying your bills. Now let's talk about the fourth habit that's making you broke. And this one is, they don't have an emergency fund. This is critical, and I cannot stress this enough. Broke people live with zero safety net. They have no savings for emergencies. So when something unexpected happens, their car breaks down, they get sick, they lose their job, they panic. And what do? They go into debt. They take loans. They use credit cards. They borrow from friends and family. Rich people. They have an emergency fund sitting in the bank. Usually 3 to 6 months of their expenses. So if something happens, they don't freak out. They don't go into debt. They simply use their emergency fund and move on. No stress, no interest payments, no long-term financial damage. Here's the truth, if you don't have an emergency fund, you're one accident away from disaster. One medical emergency, one job loss, one major repair, and your entire financial life collapses. But when you have an emergency fund, you're protected. You're secure. The crazy thing is, most broke people think they can't afford to save for an emergency fund. But rich people know they can't afford not to have one. It's a priority. They save small amounts consistently until they have that buffer. And once they have it, their stress levels drop immediately. So start today. Even if you can only save 500 rupees a month, start building your emergency fund. This one habit will change your financial life more than you can imagine. And finally, the fifth and last habit that's keeping you broke is, they don't invest their money. This is where broke people and rich people have completely different mindsets. Broke people earn money, they spend it, and that's it. The money is gone. But rich people, they earn money, they save some of it, and then they invest it so it can grow and multiply. Here's the thing, money sitting in your savings account is actually losing value because of inflation. If inflation is 6% and your savings account is giving you 4% interest, you're losing 2% every single year. But when you invest in stocks, mutual funds, real estate, or business, your money has the potential to grow at 10 to 15% or even more per year. Think about it this way. If you invest 10,000 rupees today at 12% annual return, in 10 years it becomes almost 31,000 rupees. That's more than triple. But if that 10,000 rupees just sits in your bank account, it's still 10,000 rupees. That's the power of investing. Rich people understand this. They know that the real wealth is built through investing and letting compound interest work for them over time. They start early, they invest consistently, and they let time do the work. So if you're not investing any of your money, you're literally leaving free money on the table. Start small if you need to, but start investing today. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to talk about something really important. And that is the mindset shift you need to make. Because understanding these 5 habits is one thing, but actually implementing them? That's a completely different game. You see, broke people and rich people don't just have different habits. They have different belief systems. Broke people believe that money is something that happens to them. Like, oh, I'm poor because I don't make enough money, or I'm broke because I'm unlucky, or money is hard to make. But rich people, they believe that they are in complete control of their financial destiny. They believe that if they change their habits and mindset, their money situation will change. And here's the beautiful part, both groups are right. If you believe you can't change your financial situation, you won't. You'll keep doing the same broke habits. But if you believe that you can change it, you will start making different decisions. You'll start tracking your spending. You'll stop using credit cards recklessly. You'll build an emergency fund. You'll invest. And slowly, your financial situation will transform. This is not about having more money. This is about making better decisions with the money you have. I've seen people earning 50,000 rupees a month live like kings because they manage their money well. And I've seen people earning 500,000 rupees a month go broke because they have no financial discipline. So it's not about how much you earn. It's about what you do with what you earn. Here's your action plan starting today. First, download a money tracking app or open a spreadsheet and start tracking every single rupee you spend for the next 30 days. Don't change your spending yet. Just track it. Second, if you have credit card debt, make a plan to pay it off within the next 6 to 12 months. Stop using the credit card for new purchases. Third, list down all your fixed monthly expenses and create a proper budget. Fourth, commit to saving at least 10% of your income for your emergency fund. And fifth, once your emergency fund is set up, start investing even small amounts in mutual funds or stocks. These 5 things might seem simple, but I promise you, if you implement them, your financial life will transform in the next 12 months. You'll have more money, less stress, and actual control over your finances for the first time in your life. Now, I want to share something personal with you. When I first started learning about money, I was doing all 5 of these broke habits. I was spending money I didn't have. I had no emergency fund. I wasn't investing. I wasn't tracking anything. And you know what? I was stressed all the time. But the moment I implemented these 5 habits, things started changing. It wasn't instant, but it was consistent. Every month, my financial situation got a little better. Every month, I had more control. And after 1 year of following these principles, I looked back and realized how much my life had transformed. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because I want you to know that this is not just theory. This is real. This works. But it only works if you actually implement it. Watching this video is just the first step. The real work starts when you close this video and actually start doing these things. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one habit from today's video. Just one. And implement it for the next 30 days. If it's tracking your spending, do that. If it's paying off your credit card debt, start that. If it's building an emergency fund, begin that. Just pick one and commit to it for 30 days. After 30 days, add the second habit. And keep going. Before you know it, you'll have implemented all 5 habits, and your financial life will be completely different. Let me tell you something that nobody talks about. Building wealth is not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's not something only smart people can do. It's actually incredibly simple. The reason most people stay broke is not because they don't have the ability to become rich. It's because they don't have the discipline to do the simple things consistently. You don't need a fancy investment strategy. You don't need to be born into a rich family. You don't need a high-paying job. What you need is discipline. Discipline to track your spending when it's boring. Discipline to say no to unnecessary purchases when your friends are buying things. Discipline to build an emergency fund when you want to spend that money on a vacation. Discipline to invest for the future when you could enjoy the money today. And here's the thing about discipline, it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So when you start implementing these 5 habits, the first month is hard. Your brain is fighting you. But by the 3rd month, it becomes natural. By the 6th month, you won't even think about it. You'll automatically make good financial decisions because your habits have changed. I also want you to understand something important. Becoming rich is not about making a lot of money all at once. It's about making small, consistent improvements year after year. It's about earning a little bit more, spending a little bit less, investing a little bit more, and repeating this cycle for 10 to 20 years. That's how real wealth is built. Not through lottery tickets or get-rich-quick schemes, but through boring, consistent habits. So if you're watching this and thinking, I only earn 30,000 rupees a month, how can I become rich? The answer is, start with these 5 habits. Track your spending, eliminate debt, pay your bills on time, build an emergency fund, and invest whatever you can. Even if you can only invest 2,000 rupees a month, in 20 years that becomes a significant amount of money because of compound interest. The time to start is now. Not next month. Not next year. Now. Because every month you delay is a month of compounding that you're losing out on. Now, I want to address something that a lot of people ask me. They say, but what if I have debt? How do I implement these habits when I'm already broke? This is a great question, and the answer is important. See, if you have existing debt, whether it's student loans, credit card debt, personal loans, you need to handle this strategically. You can't just ignore it and hope it goes away. Rich people understand this. They have a debt repayment strategy. Here's what I recommend. First, list all your debts. Write down how much you owe, the interest rate, and the monthly payment for each one. Second, continue paying the minimum payment on all your debts. You have to do this or your credit score gets destroyed. Third, take whatever extra money you have and put it towards the debt with the highest interest rate. Usually, that's your credit card debt. This is called the avalanche method, and it's the fastest way to eliminate debt because you're saving the most on interest. Some people prefer the snowball method where they pay off the smallest debt first for psychological wins. Both work, but the avalanche method saves you more money. The important thing is to have a plan. Don't just make random payments and hope the debt goes away. Calculate exactly how much you need to pay each month to become debt-free in a specific time frame. Let's say you want to be debt-free in 2 years. Then divide your total debt by 24 months and that's your monthly target. Once you're debt-free, all that money that was going to debt payments can now go towards building your emergency fund and investing. But until then, focus on eliminating the debt while implementing the other habits. So let's recap everything we've covered today because these 5 habits are literally the foundation of wealth building. Number 1, rich people track their spending while broke people have no idea where their money goes. Number 2, rich people don't spend money they haven't earned yet, while broke people are slaves to credit card debt. Number 3, rich people pay their bills on time and maintain their financial obligations, while broke people ignore them and pay penalties. Number 4, rich people have an emergency fund that protects them, while broke people panic the moment something unexpected happens. And number 5, rich people invest their money to make it grow, while broke people let their money sit idle and lose value to inflation. These are not complicated concepts. But here's what's crazy, most people know these things intellectually. They understand that they shouldn't use credit cards recklessly. They know they should save money. They know they should invest. But they don't do it. And that's the difference between people who stay broke and people who become rich. It's not knowledge. It's execution. So I'm asking you right now, which one of these habits are you going to implement first? Don't try to do all 5 at once. Just pick one. Make a decision. And commit to it for the next 30 days. That's all I'm asking. If this video helped you, please hit that like button. Drop a comment below and tell me which habit you're going to implement first. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel because I'm posting videos like this every single week to help you build wealth and transform your financial life. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.